Hey Dean, this game felt like a bit of a scrap for the most part. It was pretty tight. Obviously, it was pretty physical. You guys were able to sort of hold the edge for the most part. What did you see in the last 5 minutes where they were able to get ahead?
Firstly, credit to the Phoenix. We know in do or die games that there's a different level of intensity that goes to a team, and we kind of felt it was going to be more about Sykes and Creek today, but we also knew, leading into this game that meant they were going to put their head down more and attack. And to me that turned into something ridiculous. Just that who's going to be better at just creating contact and running into people and getting to the foul line. I'm not sure if I've been in a playoff game where teams are shooting 38 free throws. And I don't understand why we changed two referees in the middle of a series. Like, that's a totally different game to we played the other night. Are we meant to adjust to the referees for every game, or are we going to play a series where we kind of know how it's going to be reffed? And I'm disappointed with that. Like, there's so many things that we could have done better. We were poor in the fourth quarter. Obviously, Jock fouling out in 13 minutes or whatever it was, and the contact's just not the same for the things that he got called for and the other things that are going on the floor. We need him on the floor, and I hope that they look at this game and say, yep, I think we got some of those wrong, because I believe they did.
Mason, I'll ask you just on the back of that before I move on to the other stuff. When you were out there, and sort of as Dean pointed to, I mean, it felt like there was zero contact allowed and they were going to blow a whistle. I mean, how difficult is it to play in those scenarios where it doesn't feel like you're able to play, the way that you have throughout the season?
I think individually, sometimes you respond to a call, but our group's done a great job at bringing guys together, not responding to a call that they might not like. And honestly, it's just moving on to the next play. It gets a bit of a worry when you're 4 or 5 minutes into a quarter and you're already in the bonus. But both teams were for a lot of the game. So it turned into a bit of a free throw shooting contest. But our guys, we just tried to move on to the next play and try not to worry about it, to be honest. So that's sort of how we attack it. And as a player, you just try to win the game and focus on the next possession.
Dean, what did you think of the offense in general? I mean, we've spoken a fair bit about how much of a focal point Jock is, whether he's a scorer or whether he's a facilitator. When he's not out on the floor at all, how did you see that you guys were able to respond and run the offense?
Yeah, certainly not as well. I thought, the first half when we went to the post, whether it was either Jock or Joe, they facilitated good offense and good shots for us. Possibly when we went to the second half, where we had less of Jock, we used Scotty a little bit more. Had some good effect. I just thought he also just had some possessions where he wasn't quite as aggressive as he was the other night. And in a game like this, aggression was the key to keeping the scoreboard ticking over. In the fourth quarter, there were some shots that I liked. There was certainly some possessions where it came down to the last 5 seconds, and we were ISO'd with poor spacing, and I didn't like it. So there's some correctables in that fourth quarter.
You mentioned Creaky and Sykes already. I mean, they both had 26. They obviously had big nights. As you're watching Creek, I think he had a 9-0 personal run there. What could you do differently in that situation, or is that a situation where he's playing that bully ball, that physical style, and it's just a good player making shots?
Yeah, there's areas that will certainly improve, and I don't need to talk about them, too much. But yeah, he's a good passer as well. So at times leaving him in single coverage and living with it at different times. But I thought that the times he was able to get it in pace and get downhill and get to the foul line were some of the ones that were effective for him tonight.
Roy Ward?
Dean, you mentioned the official. Did you get any explanation about why they changed officials mid-series? And just on the adversity of this game, was this a bit of a jolt that the team needed, just to remind you that it's not all going to go your way in the finals?
Yeah, we knew what was coming today, and I'd been following obviously NBL, NBA games. You just know that that once you lose a game in the playoffs, the mentality that you come back with, and we tried to sell it. We tried to make sure that we had an edge today, and I thought for the first half we did, and we saw some just a little drop off in that absolute desire to win some loose balls, to do the hard things that got us some of the lead the other night. So it's a great jolt, but we're in a position that it's lose and go home right now. So we don't want that. We want a chance at trying to win this championship. So it's going to be a battle.
Mason, you've had a real good battle with Mitch in this series so far. You and him got a bit talkative at the end there. I think he said, "See you in Game 3." Is that going to fire you up for Game 3?
To be honest, I'm not really too concerned with anything that he's saying to me, mate. I'm just concerned about what Coach Vickerman's telling me to do and ways in which I can help our team win. They got the better of us today, and respect to them, and they had a great performance, but we'll see them in Game 3 as well, so we'll be fired up and ready to respond as a group.
Troy? Any other questions, guys? No, we're all good. Thanks, gents.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.